Hello and welcome to the news on Magic Bricks Now, India's first property business channel. I'm Kavita Krishnan. Let's take a look at the top headlines this hour. Heavy rains lashed the financial capital of India. Major areas are waterlogged, train services are hit. Heavy traffic jams brings Mumbai to a near standstill. The Met Department has predicted more rain over the weekend. After facing opposition from the Congress party and various petrol pump unions, the Maharashtra government has tweaked the no helmet, no petrol rule. Petrol pump owners are relieved. Now traffic police will enforce the rule. Remember, this rule was supposed to be rolled out starting the 5th of August. That's today. And day 2 of the power tussle in the national capital, the AAP Supremo Arvind Kejriwal says government will move the Supreme Court against the Delhi High Court order which came in earlier this week. They will be moving the Supreme Court next week. The High Court had said that the Lieutenant Governor, the LG, is the actual administrative head of the National Capital Region. But moving straight to our big focus of the day, heavy rains continue to lash Mumbai and the satellite cities of Thane and Navi Mumbai. It brought the financial capital to a near grinding halt. Waterlogged roads were a common sight through the city through the day. Train services were hit and traffic in problem areas came to a near standstill. Pounding rain saw citizens stranded for hours. Our reporters were spread across the city today and they now tell us that life is slowly returning to normalcy. Suesha Sawant, who was at Elphinstone earlier, files this report.
Torrential rains had Mumbai come to a near standstill today. It was pouring all day since morning. Several low-lying areas got flooded. These include areas like Hitmata Parel, Sion Road, Pratiksha Nagar, Mazgaon, Bandra West, Linking Road, Ambedkar Road to Dadar TT and Elphinstone Road where I am standing right now. The traffic had slowed extremely across the city in Thane, Chakala, Bandra East, Dadar Circle to Shivaji Park, the Eastern Freeway, Vakola, Marol Naka, and even the Western Express Highway. People were delayed by almost 3 to 4 hours. In fact, the trains on the Central Line were delayed by almost an hour in the morning, although we just checked with the railways and they said that now all the 3 lines are functioning. The trains on the Western Line are delayed by about 5 to 7 minutes, and on the Central Line there's a delay of about 7 to 10 minutes. Also, there was a high tide at 2 p.m. And the water went up to almost 4.47 meters. The situation was so bad that schools had to call it a half day, and most offices told their employees to go back home by 3 p.m. This is Suesha Sawant for Magic Bricks Now.
Now, Parel or Elphinstone, where Suesha did that ground check from, is located in central Mumbai, and it is an area that gets regularly inundated during the monsoons. And because it is right in the middle of the city, it also creates a lot of problems as far as connectivity is concerned. However, Suesha returned to that place to do a ground check to find out if the water pumps that the BMC had installed across Mumbai are functioning where they're needed the most.
I'm standing at Hindmata right now. This is one of those areas which is most prone to waterlogging every year the moment it starts raining heavily. But as you can see, the rains are receding right now. It's about 5 p.m. And the water has also dried up. You can see the BMC officials working behind me. They have installed these pumps because of which all the water is getting drained into the drainage, and also they're clearing up all the garbage, which has helped take the situation under control. And now you can see that these low-lying areas are now slowly clearing up. This is Suesha Sawant for Magic Bricks Now.
So the BMC should be happy with that. At least something has gone right this monsoon for the civic body, which has faced a lot of flack for the way it has been handling the rains. While torrential rains, like we said, did flood parts of the city, like Suesha just showed us, the new pumping stations installed by the civic body are helping to get that water out much faster. My colleague Disha Shah caught up with the BMC Additional Municipal Commissioner Sanjay Deshmukh. Listen in to the advice he gave to Mumbaikars.
We are very regularly issuing advisories about the high tides. and especially when there is a high tide which is over 4 meters, it can be very dangerous. So it is our appeal to people of Mumbai that please do not go near the sea, and please take precautionary measures, that when there is a warning of high tide from the MCGM, it is always better not to go near the sea. It may be adventurous for some to go near the high tide, but it can be very dangerous also.
What about other areas like Hind Mata at Lower Parel and Sion Gandhi Market? Those especially low-lying areas, and we have also, we have reported waterlogging in such areas. So in such instances, what can residents do? And in such cases, what is BMC doing to ensure that there is no flood or there is no waterlogging going forward?
Flooding in these areas is mostly on two accounts. When there is a high tide and at the same time the intensity of rain is very heavy. Today there was a high tide and intensity of rain also was very heavy, and between 10 to 11 am the rain intensity was almost 50 millimeter, and therefore there was waterlogging at some of these places. But we had kept our main and machinery readily on the spot, and in the entire city of Mumbai we operated 203 pumps to pump out the water, and in addition to that we activated all 5 major pumping stations. However, there was some extent of waterlogging at about 3 to 4 places which lasted for about 1 to 2 hours.
Which places were those?
There were Sion, Hind Mata, Parel TT and Mukhyadhyapak Nala, but there also water receded within 2 hours, and vehicular traffic was also restored.
Stay away from the seashore. That's the advice coming in from the BMC. So if you're planning to walk down to Marine Drive to enjoy the rains, please do not do that. In fact, Mumbaikars would be better off staying put at home this weekend because the Met Department forecasts heavy to very heavy rains in the next few hours. My colleague Aishwarya Paliwal spoke with the Met Department earlier today. She joins us now on the phone line. Aishwarya, what are you hearing from the Met Department? What do they have to say?
Now, the Met Department officials told us that situation could get worse in the next 2 days. However, they don't expect the situation to get as bad as it was in 2005, where, if you remember, on 26th July 2005, Mumbai had received close to 944 millimeters of rain and had resulted in massive flooding and the death of close to 700 people. Now, the department expects heavy to very heavy rainfall in the next 48 hours. That means Saturday and Sunday, we might see rainfall anywhere between 100 to 110 millimeters. They also expect a high tide on Saturday, very similar to the one we saw at 2 p.m. on Friday. Now, the department is not expecting any massive flooding to happen in the city, though. Over to you.
Right. So stay home, enjoy the rains, have that cup of tea. Don't venture out because you're going to see high tide, you're going to see heavy rain over Saturday and Sunday. Thank you very much, Aishwarya, for joining us there. Moving on from rains to another problem area. This is a problem that Mumbai faces every year during the monsoon, and that is of dilapidated buildings collapsing due to the rains. Now, residents of about 600 dilapidated buildings in Mumbai are at risk, and BMC has declared that it will not be responsible in case these privately owned dilapidated buildings collapse during this monsoon. This comes as a civic body is preparing to serve fresh eviction notices to over 700 dilapidated buildings in Mumbai. Remember, over 100 of these buildings are under the BMC control, but 600 are privately owned. In fact, residents trying to stay the eviction and demolition in these privately owned buildings can expect no reprieve from the courts too, as the High Court is reportedly backing the BMC in this matter. Disha Shah gets us his exclusive report.
Mumbai has close to 700 dilapidated and old buildings which poses dangerous and which are liable to fall down any time. In fact, top senior officials in the BMC told Magic Bricks now that out of these 700 old and dilapidated buildings, only 100 are civic owned and the remaining 600 are private owned buildings. In fact, according to their latest survey, maximum of these buildings have been found in Kurla and Ghatkopar, which are in the eastern suburbs of Mumbai. BMC officials also told us that till date they have been successful in demolishing 23 such buildings in those two areas between March to June this year. But for the remaining, they are quite unsuccessful because they say that residents are refusing to move out and vacate those old and dilapidated buildings because they are demanding alternate accommodation. But BMC clearly responded to the residents saying that according to the Mumbai Municipal Corporation Act, it doesn't allow them and they don't have any provision to provide alternate accommodation to the residents staying in private private buildings, but they have provision only to provide to the residents staying in the civic owned areas. Despite that, BMC went on and took measures like cutting water connection and electricity supply, but still residents did not move and vacate the housing societies, what BMC officials told us. In fact, they also now what they are going to do is they are going to issue fresh eviction notices next week to the remaining housing societies. And they are also going to tell the High Court that despite several notices, if residents still refuse to vacate, and then BMC will not be held responsible in case of any mishap. To this, High Court has supported the BMC's decision and verdict.
Right, and next up is the other big story that we are tracking on Magic Bricks now, Maharashtra's no helmet, no petrol rule. After massive opposition from the Congress party and petrol pump unions across Maharashtra and dilly-dallying for days, finally the Transport Minister Diwakar Raute has tweaked the proposed no helmet, no petrol rule. Now, the onus, we learn, lies on the police to enforce the rule. Amita Balachandra joins us live with the latest details. Amita, what are you hearing?
Well, the traffic police begs to differ, Kavita, at this point in time. They say that stringent action will be taken on motorists who are not wearing helmets, even pillion riders, in fact, who are not wearing helmet, or starting this on the 6th of August, that is tomorrow. What we're also picking up is that, of course, Transport Minister Diwakar Raute in the Assembly mentioned that petrol pumps can give petrol to motorists who are not wearing helmet as well. This, the traffic police says, is only to ensure safety of petrol pumps at this point in time, so that the responsibility of law and order lies on the police. In fact, all of the rest of the rules that were applicable are still applicable at this point in time. 2 policemen will be stationed at every petrol pump. There are 223 petrol pumps in Mumbai, and CCTV cameras will be there. Policemen will be monitoring and making sure that motorists wear helmet. Also, another thing that we're picking up is that now petrol pumps owners will also have to intimate. They have to tell the traffic police or the nearest RTO about motorists who are not wearing helmet. And the traffic police tells us that petrol pump union is in complete consensus with this, and this will begin from the 6th of August. The first 3 months is really about creating awareness of this rule, and that has already begun. Banners will be put up starting tomorrow at all petrol pumps, and the traffic police at this point in time begs to differ. In fact, they say that it's not a rollback, but just to make sure that petrol pumps are not held responsible.
No, it's definitely not a rollback. Seeing the situation and the apprehension of the Petrol Pump Dealers Association about the sensitivity of the petrol pump, the inflammable substance on which they are sitting and operating, they would definitely would not want any law and order situation to be developed at such a sensitive place. So agreeing to this, so they would, if they are forced to, or if they are forced to dispense petrol in any vehicle to a rider who is not having a helmet, they'll still dispense the petrol, but they'll note down the number of the registration number of the vehicle and hand it over to the traffic police for further action.
Also tell us what is the fine limit now for people who violate this rule, who are not wearing helmets in Mumbai. Also, is there a fine that will be imposed on petrol pumps who don't give petrol for people who don't wear helmets or don't intimate you in advance?
The fines for such kind of traffic violation for not wearing helmet by both the rider and the pillion is now increased from 100 rupees to 500 rupees. That's applicable in the whole of Maharashtra. So we'll start enforcing the law also, and as you all know, we'll be starting our awareness drive from tomorrow onwards about the no helmet, no petrol. We'll try to make people aware, convince them that wearing helmet is for their own safety, and after the counseling and the awareness session, then we'll start enforcing the law.
I was just coming to that. What happens to the awareness, program that you're planning to conduct for the next 3 months, where petrol pumps are supposed to put up banners, etc., and support this? What happens to that now with this rollback?
Yeah, there is no rollback, as I'm again saying. Quite a few petrol pumps have already come up with the banners of this safety initiative by Mumbai Traffic Police about this safety initiative, and we would be going ahead with this safety drive. Tomorrow onwards, there would be traffic police constables and police station constable posted at these petrol pumps, counseling the riders to wear helmets for their own safety.
Also, will each petrol pump now still have 2 policemen like the previous plan and CCTV cameras?
Yes, of course, there will be 2 constables, 1 traffic and 1 police station guy from tomorrow onwards at each of the petrol pumps.
Right, so starting Saturday, be prepared to shell out 500 rupees per head for the rider and the pillion rider if you're not wearing helmets in Mumbai, in Maharashtra, not just Mumbai. And also, you're going to find it difficult to buy petrol. So the better thing to do is to go out, buy your helmet and start wearing it. From Mumbai now, let's move to Delhi, where the turf war between the AAP government and the LG has taken a new turn. A day after the Delhi High Court ruled that the Lieutenant Governor is the administrative head, the AAP government has now urged the citizens to take their complaints related to civic amenities to the Lieutenant Governor, since the AAP government doesn't have administrative powers. My colleague Deepa Rana gets us his report.
The big fight between the Delhi government and the Lieutenant Governor has intensified in the national capital. A day after the Delhi High Court ruled that it is the LG who is the administrative head of the national capital, it is now that the Aam Aadmi Party who is urging the Delhi citizens to knock the doors of LG in case if they feel any sort of issues related to civic amenities such as water, power, bad roads. In fact, Delhi Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson Ashutosh Ashu also urged that the citizens must protest against the Lieutenant Governor and must not blame the Delhi's Chief Minister when it comes to issues like water, power, bad roads as well as schools and hospitals not functioning properly in the capital city. He also said that his party humbly differs with the judgment of Delhi High Court and also questioned the role of Delhi's Chief Minister as well as his elected representatives. In this continuous blame game between the Delhi government as well as the LG, it is now that the citizens who are left in a conundrum, in a fix as to who has the final say when it comes to the national capital. This is Deepa Rana reporting for Magic Bricks Now in New Delhi.
Well, earlier today, the AAP government did hold a press conference in the national capital where Ashutosh clearly said, AAP leader Ashutosh clearly said that they are not responsible for providing civic amenities in Delhi. Listen to what he had to say.
माननीय लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब से हमारी कुछ दरखास्त है और दिल्ली के लोगों से भी कि आज के बाद अगर दिल्ली के अंदर कहीं भी पानी की समस्या हो तो वो लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब के दरवाजे पर जाके लोग खटखटाएं। अगर उनको प्रदर्शन करना है तो वो नाराजगी जाहिर करनी तो लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब के घर पे करें। अगर कहीं बिजली नहीं आ रही, बिजली की समस्या है, तो भी लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब के यहां जाके लोग अपील करें। अगर कहीं सड़क नहीं बनी है, स्कूलों में पढ़ाई नहीं हो रही है, अस्पतालों में काम नहीं हो रहा है, अगर तनख्वाहें लोगों की नहीं मिल रही हैं, तो ये सारे लोग लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब के पास जाके उनसे अपील करें, उनसे दरखास्त करें, अपना गुस्सा, अपना विरोध, अपना प्रदर्शन जताएं, तो उससे निपटने की जिम्मेदारी भी लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब की है, क्योंकि एंटी करप्शन ब्यूरो सीधे लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब को रिपोर्ट करता था और अब रिपोर्ट कर रहा है।
For some services, MCD is there, and as you are saying, Let's suppose it's a question of sanitation, then definitely municipality is responsible. But if there is any problem of water, then Delhi Sarkar is responsible. And as you are saying now, they are saying that they will go to the bigger court, they will go to the Supreme Court. So now again the responsibility lies only on them. If Delhi Sarkar, Arvind Kejriwal are not doing their duty, they simply want to go to Punjab only, because they have to fight the elections there. They are giving their names in Punjab candidate. They have declared 19 candidates there. So all machinery is there. They don't want to do work in Delhi. They have created a ruckus. They have created the problems for people of Delhi. I would like to say to Arvind Kejriwal directly, if they are not able to perform, they should not pass their responsibilities on the shoulders of others. They should work for Delhi people. If they are not able to do that, they should leave the power.
We're talking about Delhi, the Chief Minister or the Lieutenant Governor.
I feel that they are ruining Delhi, cat fight which is having with the Lieutenant Governor, which he cannot win.
BJP Congress were very bad, but now this is the worst case we are facing.
Will the Lieutenant Governor be responsible?
Of course, Lieutenant Governor should be held responsible.
In regard to budgetary allocations of Delhi, it will still be the Chief Minister.
You are blaming Kejriwal for doing exactly what you are doing now.
Okay,
There's barely any work happening in Delhi because of the differences of opinion in the various governments that run Delhi. How can we fix the city of Delhi and offer a better quality of life?
Are you watching The Urban Debate? Only on Magic Bricks Now.
Right, and while the Arvind Kejriwal-led AAP government, the BJP-led municipal corporations and the Lieutenant Governor, all of them continue to fight over funding and jurisdiction, the citizens of the capital continue to suffer. We caught up with RTI activist Anil Sood, who told us that 50% of Delhi doesn't have proper drains. Listen in.
I have collected so much of data which is damaging against each government institution in Delhi. Be it noise pollution, be it water pollution, be it water harvesting, be it drainage system, be it road system, be it traffic. The city has gone down to drain and gone to the dogs since 2004.
Right, and moving on from all of that, let's talk about interiors. Designs, colors, palettes, accessories, all these elements combined together give your home that edge in terms of appearance. So if you've been having any doubts about designs or shades, then here's something just for you. In our newest offering, Trending Interiors, Aditi Singh caught up with Ronita Italia Dhanu, the editor of Good Homes, to get us some quick tips on how to design a home with neutral shades. Take a look.
Hello and welcome. I'm Aditi Singh and I walked into a studio to catch a glimpse of Good Homes cover story for the August issue. And I'll be catching up with the editor-in-chief of Good Homes, Ronita Italia Dhanu, to find out about new neutrals, which is the cover story for the month of August. So let's go ahead and meet her.
Right now is infusing a little bit of color into this neutral palette. This lovely serene shade of sage green, a nice warm pink blush with a lot of warm undertones. I mean, concrete is the new, chocolate brown.
Ronita, tell us about some more decor elements, probably accessories or furniture that one can use in this sort of a setup.
If you're not too comfortable with a setup like this, and if you don't want to let go of your creams, then you can bring in an element of this palette. You can introduce it very gently into your decor. For example, this this beautiful green chair. Then you've got that very, very lovely, again, corner table, which is, it's got a nice moody shade to it. Then, we've got these lovely concrete vases that you can add, again, a cluster of which you can add to a console. again, I'll start with saying texture adds depth, it adds dimension, right? So if you look at this side table, you've got a beautiful texture going here. If you look at that console, that chest of drawers, that cabinet, it's got a lovely, well, sort of three-dimensional? Yes, self-texture to it. Look at the cushion I'm sitting with. It's got this amazing embroidery going, that's texture as well. So when it comes to interiors, well, I would say that there is no right and wrong.
Well, thank you so much, Ronita, for giving us those insights. I'm sure they'll be really helpful and our viewers would try to get in some new neutrals in.
Sure.
Thank you for all that.
Thank you.
Well, that is a wrap on this edition of News on Magic Bricks Now. But before we leave you, a quick programming reminder, if you are in the market to buy a home, do participate in Mumbai's largest property festival, Times Mangal Parv. Log on to www.timesmangalparv.com to find your dream home and possibly also win the cash prize of over 1 crore rupees. Thank you for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.